things that serve the people of Kenya, things that are appropriate and that improves the lives of the people of Kenya. I was more than prepared.
Thank you.
The minute I realized that what was happening is not what is supposed to happen, I said no.
Kuna wakati ulikuwa kama naibu wa rais, wakati chama cha ama coalition ya Azimio walipokuwa na maandamano, tulikuona ukiraukia mapema sana kwa ofisi yako, ukicoordinate masuala ya kudeal with mambo ya maandamano, watu waliuawa, watu wakapigwa vibaya sana, mali ikaharibika. Was this part of the script of saying yes sir to the Mr. President?
I was not in charge of security operations. The way the security architecture works in
You chaired a meeting, Mr.
The way
Shima.
The security architecture works in
You
this
chaired
country.
some meeting in absence of the president.
Yeah. Let me tell you, the way the security architecture works in this country is that the president is the chairman of the National Security Council. He also appoints all the security chiefs and they report to him directly. The deputy president has no say in security operations, except if directed by the president to carry out a certain assignment, or the president is out of the country and deliberately assigns the deputy some duties. That meeting I chaired that one day on a Sunday morning. We had gone to the airport and he was chairing the meeting. At time was going, he told me to continue with the deliberations. Okay. But all decisions on the crackdown on Maandamano were made by the president, executed by Kindiki and Remodomolo. I was a bystander. Going to the office early in the morning was part of my routine. I used to go to the office every day at 5, whether there is Maandamano or no Maandamano. I have found some ODM MPs going to Nyanza to tell people that people were killed when I was deputy president. I was not president. I did not appoint the Inspector General. I did not appoint the director of the DCI. I did not appoint Raymond Omolo. I did not appoint Kindiki. Those were appointees of
wakati ukasema kwenye kanda kwamba IG wa polisi wa sasa kijana kutoka kwenyu wewe ndio ulimpendekeza kwa rais.
Yes. But he is the appointing authority. You can recommend somebody, but he can take it or not take it.
So did you recommend the wrong person? Is that what you're saying?
Do
you regret recommending the IG?
No, I have no regret. What happened with IG is that the president decided to sack Kenoti, who was DCI. And I didn't have a problem with it or say because he's the president. And I demanded that if Kenoti is sacked, I need a replacement from Meru because that is a position the people of Meru were enjoying. And so Kome was identified and I took part in that identification. But I don't take responsibility for his actions. The fact that I said this guy is okay. But the appointing authority is the one who made the final appointment. I made so many other recommendations which he ignored. Yes.
Okay. Let's take some feedback here. We're about to take a quick break for the highlights here, but there's quick feedback. Ashley Dan says, shame on you, Ramogi, for inviting a tribalist for an interview. How will you shake off this tag of being a tribalist? Well,
to start with, if tribalism is speaking one's language, then Ramogi station should never have existed. Why do you call me to a tribal show?
We didn't call you.
But
you called
I'm saying why does this show exist?
You requested us to come here.
No, but why does it exist? Why does Ramogi exist?
You are being asked here that there's a tag for you being a tribalist.
What makes me a tribalist?
Shareholding conversation is one
but,
of them.
But Guru is talking about shareholding.
But let's not deflect the question to other people. It's you who started this conversation on shareholding.
My friend,
and people believe that you stand for the mountain more than any other reason.
Shareholding is part of the agreement between Wetangula and Musalia Mudavadi and is signed by William Ruto. Does that make him a tribalist? Shareholding is part of discussion on political negotiations and is going on as we speak today. And there's nothing wrong with anybody saying, if we support you, this is our expectation. And that's what ODM is saying. And they are saying it so loudly. Why is that person sending you that message, not asking why Oburu and those who are asking for shareholding with Ruto are not tribalists?
Because we're speaking to you now. So is that the same arithmetic that you have
that is a tag. Let me tell you, that tag of tribalism has been pushed by William Ruto. But when I was supporting him, he never said I'm a tribalist. When my community was supporting him, he never said I'm tribal. My community and I are not tribal. Ask me why. In the last election, we had a candidate called Mwaura. We never gave him any vote. We gave 4 million votes to William Ruto and 1.3 million votes to Raila Odinga. I had the leeway to say I cannot support William Ruto because he comes from another community.
Okay.
Then how do you call me a tribalist after supporting a Kalenjin to a man? I supported him with my people.
Okay.
When did he realize we are tribalists? Then he was saying I'm a very good man, a very good mobilizer, a people-centered guy. I don't know what. He had very kind words about me.
Okay.
But the minute I and my people decided that he had betrayed us,
Yep.
he had shortchanged us, he had deceived us, he is not what he told us he is, he's not what we thought he was, and we changed our mind, then we became tribal.
All right, stay with us, Mheshimiwa. We have to take a quick break. Nikwara mogiro kama nanyo kumgirira mugi TV kaendie. Wane tuwak makende gyogai mar DCP, Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua, gijalup jaten piny Kenya machone, dala ne makaren, wabiro ni achiel kachiel kontiere kagi VOJ, Victor Tieno Juma mar Radio Ramogi. Waka thuolo moro yue machuok mondo muwinjare weche manyien madhi biro saa 3 to koduogo kendo to pod odhi medo go mbaka gi Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua menogai mar DCP gi jalup jatend piny Kenya machon. Kik udhi mabor ahinya. questions being
Those
asked
are the
by
questions
people
being asked by the people.
on Facebook. And I'm sure you have Facebook as well, so you could just check. It's the
I
same
would
question
think
they're
if
asking.
we can take time to discuss the development of Nyanza, ingekuwa mzuri.
Okay. During your tenure as
Because there's
deputy
no
president-
need for us to spend time talking to a whole community on such a popular station just to deal with the trivialities. We have dealt with them enough. I think it's time you try. We see whether we can discuss issues that can change the lives of the people of Nyanza.
So matters leadership and governance.
I think we have tackled that
trivialities.
half the show. We have tackled that half the show. And that is a problem we had when I had a show here with Okwara. We dealt with the whole show on trivialities and pettiness, and we lost the gist of the interview.
Okay, thank you.
It's
Thank you so
also
much.
good for
Fair-
us.
fair enough.
Because I think it's also important to discuss issues that can impact on lives to the people of Nyanza, and what are my thoughts. Yeah, and that's why I thought this interview was necessary. I cannot guide you on how to do the interview, but I thought it's responsible for you as senior journalists to also allow us to discuss.
Do you think responding to the
matters,
people is
matters
worth
that
your
can
time?
change and impact on the lives of the people?
Is
of
it worth
Nyanza?
your time responding to the people asking questions?
When are you going to ask issues that concern?
We
the
are asking you questions from the people.
Because
There's
they're
more
also
questions
asking
that
the same
have come in.
questions.
Even on
Well, to start with,
23600, there are questions.
my office was run by George Makagoe. He's the one who is employing people. So when you find him, you can ask him who was employed there and who was not. I have no details as to the people who was working in that office, other than the senior staff attached to me, where I had a say. Others were public servants that were picked by the Public Service Commission, and the then chief of staff would be in a better position to know than I.
Bishop Joseph Omuya from Bondo says, my question to Honorable Gachagua is this. He said that he was singing in the choir of Mr. President. How can Kenyans trust someone who can sing a song without care, even the song has something abusive words in the communities?
We leave that decision to the people of Kenya on the ballot day.
Do you believe the SGR will be beneficial to the Western region?
That's a good question now. Now we are talking. SGR.
That's a question from
yeah,
the
yeah,
people,
that's,
the
that's,
same
that's,
ones you're
now we are
casting.
talking. Now we are talking. SGR is a very useful infrastructural intervention, not just for Nyanza, but for Uganda. Yeah? And I think it can increase trade and movement of cargo between Kenya and Uganda. My only problem is that whether it's doable, because this promise has been there for the last 4 years, and it's coming on the last year of the election. What I would want the ODM people to do, and the people of Nyanza, politely, is to ask that this contract be published with the date of commencement and the date of completion, so that we know it is not a con, which I think it is. I could be wrong. And because I have seen these con games, we were promised Mau Mau Road, barabara ya orofa ya kutoka Nairobi kwenda Thika. You know, I have been in this game before, and I know William Ruto and what he does in an election here. What we are asking is for us to know that this project is real and it has been properly done. Because this company called CRBC has been used to con people. They went to Rironi Mau Summit Road and launched that road that was, we were told by William Ruto it will be ready by April. It has not started. And there's no contract.
When was the last time you were there?
No, I'm just saying,
witness Rironi?
wait a minute, I tell you what's happening. There's no contract, so the contractors cannot start.
So there's nobody on site?
What has happened,
Nobody
they
on
have been
site?
given some little money
Okay.
from the National Social Security Fund, NSSF, to do what you call data works, just clearing and giving an impression that something is going on. For Rironi Mau Summit Road, I'm challenging the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure to publish the contract between the government of Kenya and the Chinese contractors, showing the date of commencement and the date of completion. That contract does not exist.
But as the work started, have you seen
there
the
is,
work?
There is no work that has
In the
started.
Rironi Mau Summit,
What
there's
has
no
started,
work that is
I've told you
going
what is being done is what you call data works.
Are you being factual?
No,
Mheshimiwa?
listen.
Because
I've been there.
I was in
Nakuru the other day.
I was also there.
No, I'm just
There
telling
are
you what
works
is,
on that road,
I'm telling
you
you
know.
what is going on is what you call data works.
The graders are there. Everything is
they're
there.
there. I've told you they are called data works, but there's no contract. So the actual construction of the road cannot start. So just the way I'm asking for the publication of the contract for Rironi Mau Summit Road, specifically showing the contractor the amount, the scope, commencement date, and the date of completion. For SGR, I'm asking on behalf of the country and the beneficiaries and everybody else, because it's important and it's good for the country, we want the publication of the contract for the construction of the SGR, showing clearly the date of commencement and the date of completion.
In 2024, you flanked the president while in his tour in the Nyanza region, mukaenda mpaka Rusinga. Wakati huu kuna hiyo barabara imejengwa ikaisha. Do you think that there is any other tangible project that this government has done in the region?
I have not seen him launch any completed roads. I saw him launching. I would want our government, the one that we shall form, we shall borrow the model of Mwai Kibaki. Mwai Kibaki never launched any road or any project he commissioned when it's complete. I think that must be the new way of doing things, because many projects the president was doing in Nyanza the last 5 days, he has launched them before. There are roads in Meru he has launched 5 times.
Like which one did he launch in Nyanza during his tour?
So I'm saying in our government, the one that we want to form with my colleagues, one of the things that we are all in agreement, we want to stop this launching business. We want to stop this inspection business. Let inspection be done by engineers, not politicians. The deputy president has no capacity to inspect a road. That is work of engineers. The architects, engineers, quantity surveyors, the professionals. A president or a deputy president or a minister for that matter in our administration will commission a complete project. This thing of launching is all nonsense. And it really annoys people because you keep on giving people false hope. Most of the projects that have been launched by the president in Western Kenya, he was there. Not an inch of tarmac has been done. He made an agreement with Musalia and Wetangula that he will do 1,000 kilometers of road. I was part there. Not a single kilometer has been done.
We are not talking about the Western.
No, I'm just giving an example.
Yeah.
You know, Nyanza did not have an agreement with him because they were in Azimio. But Western Kenya had an agreement with William Ruto. So an agreement is binding. The mountain had an agreement with him. That is why we keep on saying Nyanza did not have an agreement, so they really cannot put him to task, other than telling them promises. But I'm saying, in future, in our government, the launching, inspection will not be done by politicians. We will do the commissioning when a project is done and it's finished.
Let's come back to the Ronimau Summit Road. So you've admitted that you've seen some works there.
Yeah, I've seen what you call data works.
So this is a PPP project. Why does it require any budget allocation? Because is it not being done by the same contractor China?
I've said we want to see a contract.
Hold on 1 second. We're just talking about this. Isn't it the same contractor who did the expressway? So why, if it is a PPP, why then would you need to see the contract?
There is no project that you do without a binding contract, because this money will be paid by taxpayers. It doesn't matter whether it's PPP or whatever it is. It will be paid by the people of Kenya. Anything that has a monetary implication must be founded on a contract that is binding and that has clauses also for default and liabilities.
Do you think the PPP is the way to go?
The PPP is too expensive. It's too expensive. I don't think it's necessary.
What option are you offering? Should you be the president of the Republic of Kenya?
I would just propose that we complete ongoing projects first before embarking on new ones.
Financing model, how would you go about it?
We just collect enough, and we use it prudently, without exaggerated figures, without putting in commissions for civil servants, and kwetu wanasema unajikuna pahali unajifikia. We do what is possible.
So if you take over, all these projects would stop, and
I'm not saying we'll stop. I'm saying we would want to complete ongoing projects before we embark on new ones.
If not through PPP, how would you want to
we just raise enough revenue by having a very prudent mechanism of revenue collection, sealing all the loopholes, sealing all the leaks, and also using the money prudently.
When you came into office, you told us that the coffers were empty and that we were stretched thin.
But
so if we don't do it through PPP,
we started collecting.
How would you do it? Funds. Will you increase taxation?
We started collecting funds and use those funds for development, not for bribing voters. You have seen the budget of State House. When Uhuru Kenyatta was there, it was 4.5. It has gone to 17 billion. That 13 billion can do so many roads. That is money that is being wasted.
So you believe the government is too extravagant?
Yeah, there is always money that you collect from taxes, through VAT, through pay as you earn, through income tax. There is sufficient funds in this country, but we need to use those funds prudently for the purposes for which they have been collected from the people of Kenya, by stopping wastage and privilege.
So practically speaking, if you took over as the president, what is the first thing you would do?
It is to stop theft of public funds.
How?
Just that. Stop people from stealing from the top. Once the president stops stealing, nobody else steals.
Okay.
Once the president is stealing, everybody else joins in the gravity train. You stop it from the top. Once you stop from the top, it stops. It must be stopped.
How?
We also
I'm
must
still
stop
struggling
using,
with the how.
I will not
So-
have, by not allocating 17 billion to State House.
So you cut down the budget of State
Yeah,
House by
of
half.
course. Not just that. I've seen the deputy president is allocating 450 billion for choppers, for going around and doing politics and doing nothing. Those are the things that we must stop. Wastage.
So in your
once we
mathematics-
stop wastage, those funds, because they are available, we apply them prudently for the benefit of the people of Kenya, for services. That's what I'm saying.
What percentage of the budget for government should be slashed? If you
I
came into
can't. I
office,
don't.
would you
I
say
wouldn't.
40,
I wouldn't.
30%?
I wouldn't have the figures of what we need to do. I need to get into office and put it down, and see what is wastage and what is useful. Yeah, that will do. But I am clear in my mind that if you stop theft at the top by the president, the rest will follow.
It's a year to election, Mheshimiwa. I'm trying to get into your tangible movements. that
You'll have
you
my
make.
manifesto soon. Don't worry.
Because this is also a
Hold-
conversation
hold-
you've had
hold-
in your
hold your
political
ho- hold-
spheres,
hold your
where there's a
horses.
conversation that the
Hold-
opposition
hold- hold
are
your
all
horses.
about one term, but no
Hold,
specific
hold,
agenda.
hold your horses. I'll be having an election manifesto explaining to the people of Kenya what I'll do for them if I'm president.
When should we expect that manifesto to
Just
be out?
hold your horses. Just wait. Wait a little.
For now, you don't have any general
It's
structure.
being worked on. There are people working on it. It's a good document. It needs to be worked on. There are many technical people who are helping us to think through. We are giving our own input. We have input from other Kenyans. We are listening to many people. In the fullness of time, we'll have an election manifesto. You will be able to ask me questions based on my proposal.
Umezungumzia maswali ya ufisadi kwa kina kabisa. Je, kuna maybe the pillars that top notch that you would want to maybe share with us in terms of what you envision if at all you are elected to the President of the Republic of Kenya as we wait for your manifesto?
I have said we have to deal with corruption.
Apart from corruption,
Yeah.
any other thing
What
that
else?
you see?
We
What other
need,
things?
we need to restore institutions of governance. We need to restore the independence of parliament. You know, we need to make sure that there is no interference in the criminal justice system. I've just seen they are harassing Tuju. They have slapped him with a demand of 650 million by KRA. They are using that body. After harassing him, the man is in hospital. That guy had a bad accident. He injured his spine. He was mishandled by police. He is in hospital. He has not killed anybody. He has not done anything that would warrant that kind of violence against him. The man is in ICU. They have now using KRA to intimidate him so that he can shut up. We must stop the use of the criminal justice system to manage politics. We must stop using police to deal with the business people. I said the other week, there is a tender, there is a work to be done at the Nairobi Railway City that is funded by the British. And there was a tender, and one company quoted 22 billion shillings. The one that the president prefers called CRBC, who are doing everything. They are doing the Talanta Stadium, they are doing SGR, they are doing Bombers of Kenya, they are doing JKIA, they are doing everything in this country. They quoted 29 billion, a difference of 7 billion. Then the ones who quoted 22 billion, who are the people who had been recommended to do that tender, they went to the appeals tribunal for procurement to intimidate them and to stop them from complaining. They were rounded up from Usenge, where they are doing a road, and put in a plane and deported to China.
Yeah.
Those are things we must stop.
Okay.
The use of the criminal justice system to do politics and also to intimidate business people to the advantage of the powers that be.
All right,
These are the
Mheshimiwa,
things that we must work on.
There's a question here from Steve Ogola. He says, please ask Honorable Rigathi Gachagua this question. Going by his logic of negotiated political settlements, what does DCP or his political faction offer the Luo Nation as the alternative to be able to work with him in the lead up to 2027 election?
Well, we don't just offer the Luo Nation, we offer the people of Kenya good governance. We want good governance. Our slogan is listen to the people, listen to Kenyans. you must govern the people of Kenya the way they want to be governed. Because they are our employers. They are the ones who give you power. And that power must be exercised in accordance to their wishes. I'm not just offering the Luo Nation a good government. I'm just offering the people of Kenya good governance where their voice matters. When the people of Kenya say they don't want housing, I told William Ruto, there is a lot of complaint. People feel that the responsibility of government is to provide services, roads, water, electricity, sewage, drainage, security. They want houses to be left to the private sector. He told me, you don't have to do what is popular, you do what is right. And I told him, I agree with you. You don't do what is popular, you do what is right. But if the majority of the people who have given you the job decide what you are doing is not right, you cannot argue with them. So I am saying what I'm offering to the people of Kenya, the Luo Nation is part of the Kenyan nation. It's good governance, it's transparency, it's accountability, it's checks and balances, is the supremacy of institutions of governance, where we allow institutions to play their rightful role. That's what Mwai Kibaki did, and he was a very successful president. He allowed institutions to work, and he let everybody work. He did not micromanage the country. He didn't try to do everything by himself. You never saw Mwai Kibaki on top of a vehicle. You know, we have a president who was elected. When you are looking for leadership, there is nothing wrong with you being on top of a vehicle. But once you are elected, you settle down in Harambee House, you settle down in State House and work. You know, you can't be on. I saw him in the Luo Nation, 5 days he was on top of the vehicle abusing us. You must sit in an office and put in hard work. Sit on a desk, get briefs, digest them, and give guidance and give direction as to what will happen. We want to restore the dignity of the presidency. We want to get the Kenyan president to get back to office and work for the people of Kenya. From Harambee House, from State House. I am not going to be a president. If I am elected president of the Republic of Kenya, you will never see me on top of the vehicle. I'll either be in office or I'll be in State House working.
All right. We're about to give you a chance to give closing remarks because we're running out of time here. But there's a question here from one Eriko Kach from Kisumu. This says, the families say it's a rather insensitive question, but we'll just ask it because the people have asked. Can you respond to Ruto about the murder of girls after impregnating them? Eriko Kach from Kisumu.
I cannot respond to nonsense, pettiness, and gossip. President has sunk too low. He has become a gossiper. Instead of addressing real issues affecting this country has a debt of 14 trillion. He is not bothered. We are facing a crisis on fuel shortage. He is not addressing it. He is on top of a vehicle saying that somebody's cow has died because of a tick. What kind of pettiness is that? Hata ng'ombe ya mtu ikikufa na wewe ni president, unaongea hiyo ni maneno ya ujinga na fitina ambayo haina haja.
He says he's only dedicating 1% of his time to respond to you.
No.
You're the one who started this
but the kind of things he's talking do not warrant my response. They are too petty and too childish. Let me talk about one thing that you never allowed me. There is a project called Koru Soin Dam.
Yes.
Uhuru Kenyatta allocated 20 billion. That was a dam that would serve the people of Kericho and the people of Kisumu. It would address the floods in Nyando so that when it rains, the water can go to that dam. That dam would have produced electricity for the Luo Nation. It would have given water for domestic and for irrigation. William Ruto removed that 20 billion. When he comes to Nyanza, the people of Nyanza must ask him, why did you remove the 20 billion from this project that Uhuru Kenyatta had given the people of Luo Nation?
Aren't you aware that there's an appeals by the two contractors contesting the award of the tender for that particular project?
Kabonyo Fisheries Training School, 3 billion shillings through the Hungary nation, allocated by Uhuru Kenyatta. It was going on, it has stalled. The people should have asked him, instead of abusing Gachagua, tell us about these projects. When you look at the sugar factories, Miwani, Soni, Muhoroni, Chemilil, they have all been sold to people. 10.2 billion shillings owed to employees of that region. People are committing suicide. Their properties are being auctioned. I did not hear a single...
How many people have committed suicide so far with regards to this?
Quite a number. Sikusikia kiongozi hata moja, Oburu, nani, Suluhu, hakuna mtu aliuliza Ruto, hii 10.2 billion, mutalipa hii wafanyikazi lini? Mambo ya wakulima, they are owed almost 500 million for these sugar factories that were sold without public participation. Those are the things I wanted us to discuss.
And what did you do during your tenure as the deputy president to address the issues of the sugar subsector in the region and the economy and aquaculture?
The horses have left the stable. William Ruto has sold those factories to Asians and other people.
I'm asking when
these factories,
during your tenure,
these factories, the people of Nyanza should have been given an opportunity to buy shares. They would have owned them and they would take care of them. But they were sold to Ruto's friends. We are now there in Nyatike. There is gold. Chinese have been given the rights to come and prospect and also to do the processing. Why can't people from Nyanza be given an opportunity to participate in the prospecting of gold and processing of gold?
All right.
Those are the issues I had wanted us to discuss.
We're giving you
the issue of fish, let me tell you, my brother. Instead of William Ruto coming to the Luo Nation to abuse Gachagua the way he was abusing Raila Odinga, what you need to do for the Luo Nation, and that is what I will do when I'm president, we must discuss the resource given by God, fish, in the Lake Victoria. If you really want to empower the Luo Nation, forget about all these other things, is to come up with processing plants, is to come up with empowerment for people to be given fishing nets, to be given boats to go and get fish, because this fish is very expensive, and it's unfortunate that people are wallowing in poverty when they have a resource next to them, they are in the lake.
Are you admitting that during your tenure as the deputy president, you couldn't push for the Luo agenda in terms of
There's
Luo
nothing
economy?
I could push for. The
a
government that
base?
I was deputy president is a one-man show. William Ruto micromanages everything. He even advises his own advisors on how to advise him. He decides everything. We were just there, just struggling, trying to make ends meet, and he says you there, he says you there and there, but he does everything, and that is what we want to change. We want to have a government that has institutions that are working. People who have been appointed, they can go and work.
All right.
And let me also tell...
I'd like to give you a chance for closing remarks because we've run out of time here, but I was looking at the Kurusoin dam that you talked about. There was no 20 billion that was allocated. In fact, it was 2 billion. It was allocated but removed in 2020. Because it was too little for the project, which was 19 billion, that you can't put that 20 billion could not be allocated in that financial year. But even then,
have you been told what happened?
Let's have your final comments because we ran out of time here. Just a minute.
Well, Trevor, you have been very biased in this show, which is very unprofessional, because anyway, let me not go into that. Let me say my closing remarks. I've heard these people talk about broad-based at the Luo Nyanza is in government because of 2 ministers. The Luo Nyanza had a vice president called Jaramogi, but he still agitated for justice and rights. They never became complacent because they had a vice president. The Luo Nation has had a prime minister. Raila and the Luo people still stood for what is right and justice. The people of Nyanza cannot be bought by positions. During Moi's time, out of 18 MPs, 17 were ministers and assistant ministers. But the Luo Nation still stood for what is true and right. I want to tell the Luo Nation, you have 2 cabinet positions. Wadai is there for energy. More than 70% of the Luo Nation has no electricity. It doesn't mean because Wadai is eating, the Luo Nations are eating. We, the mountain, have 8 ministers, but we are opposed to William Ruto because he is doing the wrong things. And those 8 positions are for individual ministers and their families. So these 2 positions the Luo Nation have are for those 2 families. It cannot be that the community now can become complacent. They cannot question what is wrong. They cannot question what is not going on well in the country. They cannot demand what is rightfully theirs and they pay taxes because they have 2 cabinet positions. The Luo Nation has always had very senior positions, but it's a dignified community that has always stood for what is true and what is right. I'm asking the Luo Nation, much as you have 2 cabinet positions, fight for your right, fight for what is just, and make sure that you position yourselves properly so that the interests of your community can be taken care of in the future administration.
Will you be visiting the Luo Nation soon?
Yes, I will.
When?
Well, soon. I'm just working my things around. I hope Raymond Omolo will not sponsor violence against me the way he has been doing in Nairobi. He's been mobilizing people in Nairobi to attack churches.
Allegations that
no, it's true.
He
can take me to court. He organized violence in Kariobangi Church.
You have evidence for this, so you can take this to court.
Even this attack on Orengo is Omolo.
So you can take this to court?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
He is the one who has been organizing violence in Nyanza. And I want to ask Raymond Omolo, stop violence.
So when are you coming to Nyanza?
I should be coming soon.
Okay.
Let me organize myself.
Will you be fielding candidates in DCP?
Well, I'll come.
Will DCP be fielding candidates in that area?
I want to tell the Luo Nation that if ODM joins UDA, those who are independent people and minded, who are not psychophants, if you don't come to DCP, your goose is cooked.
Yeah.
You will never get a certificate. DCP is available to the Luo Nation. All those leaders who are courageous, who are brave, who believe in the people, who want to go to parliament to fight for the Luo Nation, DCP is your party. Even here in Nairobi, I have very many aspirants who have come to DCP.
Okay.
And I have told the Luo Nation here in Nairobi to be careful, because previously the ODM has had 9 MPs in the city, courtesy of Wiper, courtesy of the Malembe Nation, courtesy of the Kisii Nation.
Okay.
Those nations are not with Ruto. Ruto has no votes in Nairobi. So if you go and make a partnership with Ruto, where will you get votes?
Okay.
You people must align yourself with the realities of Nairobi politics.
All right.
The Nairobi politics, as we speak today, is in the opposition.
All right.
So if they decide to join Ruto, they will not get a single position here in Nairobi. And I'm saying, like Ruaraka, if I get a good candidate from the Luo Nation who wants to run at a DCP, hey, wala.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, His Excellency. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, the DCP leader and also former deputy president. Mane kama we chenru marwa buch jopiny kawuono nwa rie ma chwalore matin kwa chako gi wach marangi chwelo mochoko chopo nyaka oyimore kata buch jopiny bende wago mana kae ndigi ogaye mar DCP gi jalup jatend piny Kenya machon Honorable Rigathi Gachagua duoko nero kamana nyako moroko dala ne kae ndi makare nko bira chiel ka chiel twak makende nwantiere ka gi VOJ Victor Tino Juma twak nodhi
twak odhi jopiny giwegi biro ng'ado ni to oyiengore kon mane. Erokamano ahinya ne Rigathi Gachagua kuom miwa thuolo kendo jopiny bende mar go kodwa mbaka. En ema oluongo wa kanya kwa Mgajwang kaka ne wachake ni to nodwaro ang'o hie momiyo oluongo wa ka tiwinjo mana kod iti kaka duoko penjo mane kaka en. Ka ok kamano Trevor en kinde mar goriti nikech gimoro amora nigi sane. Tantie kod gen nitie gik manyien ma jopiny bende opuonjore e twak mane wan go odiochieng' ma kawuono.
Sa koro chopo ono dwoko nwero kamano kweti Ramogi TV kan kaka pile nyinga Trevor Ombija jandingo panga jonyakach dendo nombija taya nyakwar guok ocha pesa. George Bati Daddy Cool bro biro mondo nyis weche mosebedo katimore pacho ka dwoko nwero kamano ahinya kuom kiti Ramogi TV ka.